Hello and welcome to the History of Sport, and in today's video we will be answering the question, has Daniel Ricciardo finally found his form at McLaren? It's no secret that since Daniel Ricciardo switched from Renault to McLaren at the end of 2020, he has struggled to emulate the pace of his younger teammate Lando Norris, which has left both fans and commentators confused as they haven't seen the great performances synonymous with Daniel Ricciardo. Leading up to the summer break, Danny Ric had only scored 50 points. When that's compared to Lando Norris's total of 113 points, it's pretty poor in comparison, and I doubt it is the start that Daniel Ricciardo himself wanted to his McLaren career. Not only that, but Lando Norris had scored the team 3 podiums, one of which was at Monaco. I mention Monaco in particular as it was one of Daniel Ricciardo's worst performances in 2021. This is due to the fact that Monaco had previously been one of his favourite tracks, scoring 2 pole positions, 1 win and 4 podiums in the past. However, in 2021 he failed to get into Q3, qualifying P12. Going into the summer break, Daniel Ricciardo had a best qualifying position of P5 and a best race finish at Silverstone of 5th. So going into the summer break, Daniel Ricciardo didn't exactly live up to his reputation. As before, when he's joined a new team, he's beaten his teammate in the first season, as he did with Sebastian Vettel in 2014, and many were left wondering whether a good performance in his first season at McLaren was possible. It was at the first race weekend after the summer break in Spa when Daniel Ricciardo's form seemed to pick up, and both McLarens were looking extremely fast. On Saturday, come qualifying, the weather conditions were extremely treacherous, and Lando Norris was on track for his first pole position. However, he crashed out due to the conditions, and he left Daniel Ricciardo to qualify P4. Once again, the bad weather arrived on Sunday, and the race can only be described as an utter debacle, as due to the poor weather conditions, only a few laps could be completed under the safety car. Due to the rules, anyone who finished inside the top 10 could only receive half points. So as a result, Daniel Ricciardo scored a season's best finish of P4 and received 6 World Championship points. The next round in Zandvoort, however, was not only extremely tough for Daniel Ricciardo, but extremely tough for McLaren themselves. Daniel Ricciardo qualified P10, but was beaten to the last championship point by his teammate Lando Norris. However, at the next round of the championship at Monza, something spectacular happened, not only for Ricciardo, but for McLaren as well. On the Friday, he qualified P5, which would be his grid slot for Saturday's sprint race. In the sprint race, Lewis Hamilton got off to a bad start, which allowed Danny Ric to overtake him and his teammate Lando Norris. After the overtakes, he finished the sprint race in P3, which gave him 1 championship point. His P3 finish in the sprint race was even more important as the winner Valtteri Bottas took engine penalties. This meant that he started the race on the front row of the grid in P2 alongside his old teammate Max Verstappen. After the 5 red lights went out, Daniel Ricciardo got off to an amazing start and overtook Max Verstappen. He then held him off until the first round of pit stops. Then his race was made slightly easier when Verstappen had a bad pit stop. Then on lap 26, when Lewis Hamilton came out of the pits ahead of Max Verstappen, the pair collided when Verstappen tried to overtake. And after stellar driving and help from Lando Norris holding quicker cars back, such as Valtteri Bottas, McLaren recorded their first 1-2 since 2010, and Daniel Ricciardo won the Italian Grand Prix. Going into Sochi, the Ricciardo camp were confident that another great performance was right around the corner, and he didn't disappoint. He qualified P5 and after another strong start, he was sitting in the podium places until an extremely poor pit stop by the McLaren team left him right down the order. However, with wet weather closing in on lap 50, Daniel Ricciardo chose to pit for intermediate tyres, and because of this he charged through the field back to P4. So now to answer the question, has Daniel Ricciardo found his feet at McLaren? Well, in the 3 races since the summer break, he has scored 44 points, which is nearly his 50-point total of the first part of the season. In my opinion, I think Daniel Ricciardo has found his feet at McLaren, and although he won't beat Lando Norris in his first season, I think he'll be able to close the gap. And from what we've seen since the summer break, I believe his performances will keep getting better and better, and he'll carry that momentum into 2022 and the regulation change. As always, if you've liked today's video, then please like, share and subscribe, and comment down below if you think Daniel Ricciardo has found his form at McLaren.